Hi guys, and welcome to the Communication Section Problem 5, Semester Exam Review. I'll let you decide what words you want to choose to describe this, but here's what's behind figuring out this graph. As we look, notice y equals f of x. Let's maybe change that color if I can. I'm going to highlight that in blue. Okay, y equals f of x there. We have actually no formula for this graph. So what we would like to do then is to write the new one, which is up here. It's based on the old one. So this f of x plus 1 piece stands for what these old one values were. But since there's no formula, we can't just think, reflect, slide, and translate. Right? We have to actually write out the x-y pairs. So for the first one here, the suggestion is for the old function f of x, you make a t-table. And then for the new function, which we call the g of x, defined this way, you make a new xy table. So basically here now you copy, and I'll just grab one of the first points and I'll let you figure out the rest. My first point here appears to be -3, -2. So now we look to the new definition to see what has changed. And notice inside the parentheses, there is a x plus 1 type of shift. We all know that shift goes 1 to the left. So if we're shifting 1 to the left, and my starting value from my old graph is -3, that will actually turn that into a -4. So what's the operation that makes that happen? That's actually subtracting 1 from the x. And again, we talked about the x as being a little screwy, kind of doing the opposite of what you might expect. So my method then is to take all my old x's and subtract 1 to generate my new x's. A second thing we see here is, and again you think of this f of x that I put in a black box there as your old y values. We've already made the modification on the x. And from the sign that is here, you know you need to take the opposite. You make the negative, and then you take 3 away. So as I go over here to figure out my new y's, I'll make a little note. I want to take the opposite and then subtract 3. So looking back to the only one I've written over here, -2 is my first y value. Opposite of -2 is +2. From that I subtract 3. My new matching y coordinate for the old one should be -4, -1. From there you continue writing down and plotting coordinates. My second one here is at -2, -4. So to complete my new table, I check back to my new table. To change my x, I subtract 1. -2 take away 1 is -3. And my old y value was -4. The changes to that are switch the sign. +4 take away 3 is 1. Continue in the same fashion for the remaining points. Once you get your new table from that point, it's simply a matter of plotting the points like we always have and connecting them with segments. Here we can't just take the old graph and flip it over and slide it 3 because of the x changes. Hopefully this helps.